next guest, Dapper Dan, as I like to call him, he helped to raise over €100,000 for charity through online shows and facilitated comedy and confidence-building workshops for secondary schools all over Ireland. Now he's back with a new solo show, The God of All Things Bad, like my English command.
Of all things bad. What a champ. Now, one of his other projects during lockdown was to bring his stand-up to O'Reilly House for a lockdown comedy special. Now, most of it is in no way suitable for a 9 a.m. audience, by the way. But here's the one little bit we can show you where Danny talks about the joys of living with your friends before you settle down. It's a hoot. Take a look.
Even something as simple as paying an electricity bill when you're living with the lads, you throw in your 20 quid each, someone takes all the money in the gaff and they go to Lidl and they buy a canoe and no one is angry. He is a legend. You all just sit in the gaff in the canoe in the dark because you've no electricity. It's a simpler time.
We've all been there. You go in for a bag of peas and come out with a pair of skis.
Brilliant.
Danny, how are you doing?
How are you guys?
Oh,
Good to see you.
Good to
Great.
see you. I tell you what, we were chatting during the break. You are as busy as all hell, aren't you?
Yeah.
You've got things going on everywhere.
I'm spinning a lot of plates at the moment because I'm afraid the dishwasher is going to break again.
I know, because it has gone from zero to hero in terms of the business. Like, you did nothing for so long.
It's nuts. Like I went to the UK for a couple of months because they opened up like 4 months before us. And I'm back there again on Monday, and it was bizarre because it was full whack, you know, shows are back to 100% full audiences. And then I come back to Ireland and we're kind of slowly coming back to it, and now we're going through a bit of a wave again. I'm going to be flat to the mat now from now till Christmas, and listen, hopefully the new year will be good.
Well, when you say you're flat to the mat, like, I mean, you obviously write plays and you do. How do you write the comedy? Because it's hilarious, but where does it come from?
I'm very much like a comedian that writes by doing, you know what I mean? Some people will stay and go, oh, I did 3 hours writing today. They remind me of the lads in school who said I did 3 hours studying, and I'm just going, oh, God.
Not for me.
I just do stuff. Like I did a show years ago. I did shows in 3 prisons in Ireland. That show was called Lock In. Last year's show was called Reformer because I had a really bad knee injury and nearly had to get a complete reconstruction.
So circumstance dictates the show, dictates the set.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and then I went all vegan and I gave up like drink. I gave up everything because I had to fix my knee. And then this year's show is called The God of All Things Bad.
Right.
I wish it was called The Good of All Things Bad. That'd be more positive, wouldn't it?
he changed your title.
I renamed it for you there.
Be good, Simon. Be good.
So tell us, Danny, about, because you mentioned in the intro, and we have to give you a big pat on the back here. €100,000 raised. First of all, how did that come to you? How did that idea come to you? And what was it like raising that money?
So we did a load of different charity gigs. One was for the Irish Cancer Society. Then we did some stuff for Pieta House, which is amazing. And every year they have like Darkness into Light, and they have a May Day parade down in Ringsend. And this was like peak lockdown. Like, you know, everyone was kind of panicking. It was the first weekend of May, 5th of May, I think it was. And the owner of the Ringsend Irish Town Community Centre, Lorraine, who's an absolute hero, by the way, might I add, she said, will you do an outdoor kind of set, I suppose. So we did an outdoor set with people standing like, 40 feet away from us around a fence. There was no audience. It was just like
bizarre, isn't it?
I remember there was football jerseys on chairs and they were live streaming on Facebook, and I'm like, what is happening?
It's like an alternate universe, isn't it?
And then we were asked to do some shows in George Reynolds' flats in Ringsend. And then that kind of went on from there. And then we decided to do a show in O'Reilly House in Ringsend, which we then filmed. And then we made the lockdown comedy special, myself and Damien Clark. And it was incredible.
Here we go. There's some nice
we're so
footage
connected, that community. It's funny, one of the lads in that video.
Look at them all wave.
The guy in the pink jumper in that video, Dave, was actually at the show I was doing last night. I gave him a lift home to Ringsend.
Go away.
I swear to God,
But I mean, it is, isn't it? It's the best tonic to make people laugh. Especially when people
God knows we needed it the last
God knows we needed it. And it's my favourite thing. I mean, I'm a huge comedy fan. And I love Billy Connolly. I love Chris Rock. I love them all. I love all the gamut of some great comedians, some not so. But, I mean, do you find that it just instantly changes the mood when you come on?
There's no replacement. Like, we did loads of online gigs. I'm doing loads of virtual shows now leading up to Christmas, which are great. But for me, like, I didn't get into comedy to be doing a show in front of my laptop. It's about that human connection, and it's about the crack. And I had 2 shows last night in the Wild Duck with Enya Martin and Carl Spain. And myself and Carl actually got married as a joke last year.
Yeah, of course you did.
Because you were allowed to do gigs for up to 50 people.
And how's the wedding going? How's
married life? We haven't consummated, I just want to be clear. about that. He lives in Limerick, I live in Dublin. It's the perfect setup.
So it's a long distance relationship.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
But the feeling and the energy that you get off people and the release from people, and that's why I think live gigs are so important. And I know it's a weird time at the moment, and I definitely would urge anyone to go to live theatre, live music, buy the tickets, because now's when performers really need you. It's for those tickets next year.
I was asking you, Danny, because we'll obviously give out dates. You've got so many gigs coming up, and you were saying that you're booking a new tour and that. Are you nervous? Because particularly looking at where we are now in Ireland at the minute, are you worried about, look, I'm booking these dates and they're going to get pulled?
Yeah, and I don't think people understand how much time goes into booking a tour.
Absolutely.
Like each venue, as you well know, is an individual project in itself. And when you're rescheduling, and I'm very grateful to all the audience members, like in Castlebar, actually, we were talking on the break. They held on to their tickets for, I think it was 18 months. And you have no idea how much that means to us, you know what I mean? Because it means that we actually can do the show when they go ahead. But I am nervous, but I'm hoping, we're the most vaccinated country in Europe. If we can't move forward now, when can we move forward?
But the bizarreness of the whole situation is you were explaining to me that next week you're doing a gig that you should have done in May 2020. So you're doing that set.
Yeah.
And then the following week in London, you're doing your new show. So you got the show that you've done already.
So you have to remember the material from
your brain must be fried.
Remember Men in Black when they get the stick and they just go, that's what I need to do with last year's show. I need to forget every bit of it, and then I've got the new one. But it's a good challenge, and that kind of stuff keeps you sharp as a comic.
It keeps you on your toes. Can we talk about the work that you do in the schools?
Sure.
Because this rung about me as a dad and our boys at home. Because you work in schools dealing with confidence, giving kids confidence. And I think particularly for young fellas.
It's huge, and we've done we do mixed schools, boys' school, girls' schools, mainly transition years.
Okay.
And it was a lockdown project, to be honest with you. But people have spent so much time in front of screens, and they're trying to school from home and all that kind of stuff. And getting a 16 or 17-year-old when they're at that formative age so we get them up on the microphone twice and ask them what they did during lockdown, and what's your favourite food, where's the best chicken fillet roll, that kind of thing.
Just to get them talking, because it's all about engaging them, isn't it, 100%.
Danny? And then after that, we teach them some tips, and I tell them stuff that I've learned from my mistakes. Do you know what I mean? Here's a load of gigs where I've tanked and I've done awful stuff, and and then when we get them back up again, but it's I think it's so powerful for a 16-year-old to speak to their peers on a microphone, that when they go into college, or if they're doing an interview for their first job, maybe it's in a local supermarket, they have the confidence to do it, and I love them.
Listen, absolutely, it should be compulsory in schools, actually.
But also they don't really, kids will also say to you as well that you're able to say to them, look, I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been that 16-year-old awkward young fella.
Indeed, and you're so personable and you're so nice, but you're so humble as well. I mean, really and truly, you must give them a great boost.
But I get nervous now. You know what I mean? Every show I do, when I'm doing this new show, I'm doing a preview of a brand new hour, I'm as nervous as you are right now. Do you know what I mean? And I always say that nerves are a really good thing, because nerves just mean that you care. Do you know what I mean? If you don't care, if you're I don't get nervous.
And the nerves create energy, and energy makes you perform better.
Yeah.
I know myself as an actor that, there's always that fear and that nerve and that energy, and that's all good. But as a stand-up comedian, people have said to me over the years, would you not try stand-up comedy?
It'd be great.
I'd be terrified, because there's nowhere to hide. It's your material. I think the most terrifying part for me would be you have to write the material. Yeah. So when you've got this new show written, do you test that out? Do you put 10 minutes into an old set, or what way do you do it?
That's exactly what you do. You sandwich little bits and pieces. So I was in Limerick last Thursday in Dolan's, and I tried out a little 5-minute bit, and then you're in Mayo the next night, you tried another bit. Last night I tried out another bit. You add up all those bits.
So you've tested the whole show by the time you get to do it?
Not as a whole, but as piece by piece.
Do you test on family and friends, or not?
I would say it to a lot of my colleagues and stuff like that, other comics. I'd be like, listen, I've got this bit. Last night, for example, I said to Carl Spain, it's watch this bit, I think it's got something. See if we can punch it up, and then that's how we kind of help each other, and then you develop it.
Do you know what, though? Do you not think you'd be good at stand-up? You're hilarious. You have me in knots behind the
If he wrote it, I'll do it. No
I'll
problem.
write it. You perform it.
You write it, son.
No, he's really
You hum it and I'll sing it.
I've been doing loads of Wicklow jokes.
I'll do my best Baltic glass accent. So where are you heading to? You're heading to London, you've got dates here, and then you're going to go stateside, hopefully, at some point.
I'm going to the States next year. I've got loads of Europe stuff booked in as well. They're a little bit more open again, and I've got an Irish tour. So all of these tour dates, I'm going to hopefully have the whole tour up by the end of this month.
Where are you going around Ireland? Just a quick...
I'm so excited. I'm in London the whole of next week, and then I'm actually in Dublin for the rest of December. And I feel like I'm on holiday. So, I can't believe I'm in my apartment for a whole month. I'm like, this is unbelievable.
Fantastic. But listen, keep up the good work.
Thanks,
You're
mate.
playing a blinder. Keep that energy, keep that level, because it's obviously doing something for you.
Well done.
And best of luck with the tour, my friend.
Cheers,
Indeed,
guys.
whenever we
Thanks,
support you. Thanks very much. All right, after the break, Trina McCarthy will be here with her essential guide to beauty gifts. We'll see you soon.